Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 9, and in this chapter we will learn about structuring system data requirements. And firstly, what we will learn in this chapter consists to define each of the following key data modeling terms: entity type, attribute, multi-valued attribute, relationship, degree cardinality, business rule, associative entity, trigger, supertype, supertype, and subtype. And draw an entity relationship diagram to represent common business situations. Explain the role of the conceptual data modeling in the overall analysis and design of an information system. Distinguish between honorary, binary, and ternary relationships, and give an example of each. Define four basic types of business rules in a conceptual data module. Related data modeling to process and logic modeling as different views of describing an information system. What's the conceptual data modeling? Is a detailed module that captures the overall structure of data in an organization, independent of any database management system or other implementation considerations. And we can see this again: system development lifecycle with analysis piece highlighted, planning, analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance. And the conceptual data modeling process: develop a data module for the current system, develop a new conceptual data module that includes all requirements of this new system. In the design stage, the conceptual data module is translated into a physical design. Project responsory linked and design and data modeling steps performed during SDLC. And deliverables and outcome. Primary deliverable is an entity relationship diagram or class diagram. And many ways for ER or class diagrams are pursued and analyzed. ER diagram that converts data needed in the project's application. ER diagram for the application being replaced. And ER diagram for the whole database from which the new applications data are extracted. ER diagram for the whole database from which data for the application system being replaced is drawn. And second deliverable is a set of entries about data object to be stored in repository or project dictionary. Repository links data, process, and logic modules of an information system. Data elements included in the DFD must appear in the data module and vice versa. Each data stored in a process module must relate to business objects represented in the data module. And gathering information for conceptual data modeling, the perspectives on data modeling. Top-down approach for a data module is derived from an intimate understanding of the business. Bottom-up approach for a data module is derived by reviewing specifications and business documents. And requirements determination questions for data modeling. What are subjects, objects of the business, data entities and descriptions? What unique characteristic distinguish between objects of the same type is primary keys? And what characteristics describe each subject and object is attributes and secondary keys? How do you use the data? Firstly, we can explain this question is security controls and user access privileges. And the others is over what period of time are you interested in the data, cardinality and time dimensions. And are all instances of each object the same? Supertypes, subtypes, and aggregations. What events occur that imply associations between objects, relationship and coordinates are the spatial circumstances that affect the way event and handled. Integrity rules, coordinates, time dimensions, and introduction to entity relationship modeling. What's the entity relationship data module? Entity relationship data module is a detailed logical representation of the entities, associations, and data elements for an organization or business area. What's the entity relationship diagram? Entity relationship diagram is a graphical representation of an ER model. And ER module is expressed in terms of data entities in the business environment, relationships or associates among those entities, attributes or properties of both the entities and their relationships. And what's the entity? Entity is a person, place, object, event, or concept in the user environment about which data is to be maintained. And what's the entity type? Entity type is a collection of entities that share common properties or characteristics. What's the entity instance? Entity instance is a single occurrence of an entity type. And an entity type name should be a singular noun and descriptive and specific to the organization and constitutive. An event and entity type should be named for the result of the event, not the activity or process of the event. And an entity type definition should include a statement of the unique characteristics is for each instance. Make clear what entity instances are included and not included in the entity type. Often includes a description of when an instance of the entity type is created or deleted. For same entity types, the definition must specify when an instance might change into an instance of another entity type. What history is to be kept about entity instance. And attribute a named property or characteristic of an entity that is of inserted to the organization. Naming an attribute